Who agrees Ruby Gillman and the Barbie mermaid movies are way, way better movies that star mermaids than the shitty Little Mermaid remake earlier this year.
Look in the mirror, and I start to tear up. Don't even know what that I see. I'm missing the way things used to be, but I wipe them away now, 'cause I'm not afraid now. I'm ready to find out who I am, even if the world don't understand.
Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken, directed by Kirk D'Amico, and is the 44th Dreamworks movie overall, as well as the first of the two Dreamworks movies to be released in 2023, before Trolls band together, which none of us give a shit about. Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken tells the story of Ruby, a Kraken whose family is living on land in Ocean Heights, as her mum, Agatha, who's a real estate agent, has fallen out with her mother, Ruby's grandmother, and doesn't want Ruby to know about her true heritage. It turns out the women in her family turn into huge badass Kraken warriors to defend the ocean from mermaids. But while Ruby's just discovering who she is while also trying to just live a normal teenage life. But let's just say Ruby learns who she can trust and who she can't. Now, before we begin today's review, I wanted to give biggest shout out to one of my best friends ever, Pajak's Perspective, also known as Ollie Pajak, and we did a collab vlog review together on this movie yesterday after seeing it, which was such a terrific day.
Hello guys, welcome to this collab vlog with me, Pajak's Perspective.
Hey, how's it going, Harry? Thomas here.
And we haven't done this for quite a while. We are here for a collaborative vlog about Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken. Today we've come to see this movie. There's fuck all else out at the moment, and most of what is out is disappointing as far as I'm concerned. So I'm kind of banking on this film before Elemental comes out and Mission Impossible. So do you have any expectations for this?
Yeah, I honestly think it looks like it could be DreamWorks' best since How to Train Your Dragon 3 The Hidden World, but please be great.
I hope so too. I did enjoy the bad guys, but it wasn't amazing. So I'm hoping that this will be somewhat of a return to form, I guess you could say. And yeah, so we're going to go in and watch the movie. We'll be back shortly to let you know what we think of it. No spoilers.
Yes, see you soon.
Thank you once again for the collab, Ollie, and for seeing this movie with me yesterday. And I'm check out his review. His review is fabulous, and I'm pleased that this movie surpassed his expectations. I mean, I was rather curious to check out this one. I mean, it looks like the most original and fresh idea Dreamworks has in a millennia. It looked like it could be one of those never judge a book by its cover movies that could start one of their, big name franchises. And it's simply another Shrek where they flip the perspective. The Kraken is good this time and the mermaid is bad. But Dreamworks hadn't made a masterpiece or a movie that I rate as a proper 10 out of 10 since How to Train Your Dragon 3 The Hidden World 4 years ago. So I was getting concerned that Dreamworks would never make a classic like that again. But finally, a Dreamworks movie has dethroned Abominable as the best post How to Train Your Dragon 3 Dreamworks film. Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken is the most pleasant surprise of 2023. Unexpected and underrated masterpiece. Why is this movie bombing critically and financially? I mean, this Across the Spider-Verse and Super Mario Brothers movie are the god tier animations for 2023, and I would love a sequels. I'd love a Ruby Gillman 2 and 3 after this. Please give us more. Don't you toss this movie in your trash DreamWorks just because it's not performing to your expectations financially. But I'm probably the only one that's going to put this movie above Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, but just my personal taste. I uh, adore the girl power here. I mean, this is a far better female-led DreamWorks movie than Monsters vs. Aliens, and it's a heartfelt and beautiful mother and daughter story between Ruby and her mum Agatha, and her mother Ruby's grandmother, and you you and this makes for us some uh, some compelling family drama here. Like, see Agatha and her mother have different ideas about how to bring up Ruby. You know, Agatha just wants Ruby to be like a human, and whereas her grandmother wants her to fulfill her destiny as princess of Kraken Kingdom. Strict as Ruby's mother is, Agatha is still a nurturing and sweet mother who are just who will do anything to keep her daughter happy and safe. Especially in the scene where she comforts Ruby off when Ruby is crying after she transforms to Godzilla size. I mean, that scene will make you go, "This is why mums are the best." Uh, and Agatha does embrace her badass warrior Kraken side in the third act, and does make amends with her mother. Ruby's grandmother, how she trains Ruby to use her powers, and teaches Ruby the laser eyes and body armor. And she has one cooler grandma, and Ruby herself, I found uh, uh, to sympathize for greatly. Now, one of my uh, personal favorite DreamWorks protagonists, being, you can feel all the anxiety and pressure she's under from her mother to just stay away from the ocean, even though she's so tempted to dip a toe into the ocean, but to just live a regular human life. So it is bizarre that the Gilmans live literally on the ocean's doorstep at Ocean High. I mean, and and considering how much Agatha wanted to move away from the ocean, and how is nobody questioning that Ruby and her family are blue, you know? Why so blue? To quote Quaritch from Avatar The Way of Water. Though her human boyfriend Connor, how can a human or Kraken possibly work out? That's another DreamWorks different species relationship to add to the pile. I mean, surely during sex, if she grew huger, she would freaking crush him. Once Ruby does enter the ocean and embrace her, enormous Kraken former, that's when she truly comes of age and breaks the rules, becomes a total badass, and brings her mother and grandmother back together. I mean, both Ruby and Agatha technically lied to one another about what they were doing. But now that the conflict has been resolved in a sequel, Ruby and her mum should be closer than ever. And yes, this movie has its similarities to Turning Red. You can see the comparison. You know, a daughter and the mother clash, and the females in their family transform into a huge creatures, but it's not a exact rip-off, because Turning Red had no villain. So think of it that way. And yes, it has its similarities also to Pixar's Luca, but I honestly prefer this to Luca, because Luca I find overhyped and just decent, uh, but yeah, and yes, the male characters may not do as much here as the females, but I don't mind that, as this is a female-driven story. The male characters are not supposed to be the front and center, so it's okay that they don't have the ability to turn big. They serve their purpose just right, to being the comic reliefs, like Ruby's father sells bottles, and Ruby's brother is a natural at dodgeball, and her uncle, her mum's brother, he is just trying to keep the peace between his sister and his mum. He also is the first to inform Ruby of her grandmother. And as for Narissa, the mermaid queen, who pretends to be Chelsea, and who befriends Ruby to get the Triton, win the Mermaid and Kraken War. I mean, I personally think the twist villain reveal here was executed flawlessly. Ruby and Chelsea were getting on so well, and you were like, okay, Krakens and mermaids can get along, so it's genuinely shocking to see that that Narissa was tricking Ruby all this time. You feel like Ruby had been truly stabbed in the back when Narissa reveals her true intentions, and her design is extremely reminiscent of Ariel from Little Mermaid, but she, uh, and the final battle is one of DreamWorks' most epic in years. Three Krakens versus a mermaid. I mean, it's a Goliath finale, to say the least. And DreamWorks have returned to more photorealistic CGI visuals for this one, after going with Spider-Verse style animation for the bad guys in Puss in Boots 2. And the animation, especially once they get to the ocean, with its bioluminescent glow, is breathtaking, just like the hidden world in How to Train Your Dragon 3. And I even dug the soundtrack, like the hip song when Ruby's just swimming through the ocean, and she's saying hi to whales, and it's like I'm finally free, and you feel free too. Thankfully, this movie keeps the high school stuff to a bare minimum, and 90% of it is the Kraken and mermaid in the ocean stuff. And the captain, who's kind of like the other villain of the movie. Yeah, he's the more comical one, but he is, well, what the hilarious twist about him is that he's a modern captain. He has like Instagram and a phone to vlog his captures. So this movie is relatable in its commentary on how we've let social media dominate our lives today. Uh, so overall, Ruby Gillman, a teenager Kraken, now could make my top 10 DreamWorks movies. I mean, please, people, give this movie your money, not Trolls or Boss Baby. It is the first DreamWorks movie of the 2020s decade to legitimately have heart and to get me emotionally invested. I give Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken 5 stars out of 5. Best movie ever. Now, before we wrap up today's review, here's me and Ollie's out of the theatre reaction to Ruby Gillman.
Okay guys, so we've just finished watching Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken, and I have to say, compared to the disappointments this summer, this is one of the best movies to come out recently. I mean, it isn't perfect. I do think there are problems, which I'll go into in the actual review, but yeah, I think it's fair to say we were quite surprised.
Oh, pleasantly surprised. This is easily the best post How to Train Your Dragon 3 DreamWorks film for me. I mean, yeah, you feel, I love the girl power here. It's a heartfelt mother and daughter story, and I gotta say that final battle was pretty epic. If you were put off by the marketing, trust me, it will surpass your expectations. I'm surprised by the mediocre reception this film's getting. It's so underrated, I feel.
It's a real shame, and the marketing hasn't done any favours. It deserved much better marketing. I mean, being released at the same time as Indiana Jones probably doesn't help, but still, it's good. I mean, it's not perfect. I think there are some characters that probably don't do that much, and some of the pace for me was a little slow, but the story's basic, and I do feel like the twist villain doesn't quite work, but aside from that, it's fun, and I think that's what all you need. It's a fun story, and it's got heart and soul, which more than I thought it would. So it's not just a dumb teen movie. There are teen elements to it. There's a prom in the story, and there's a subplot about Ruby, fancying some guy. Yeah, the only thing that confuses me is like, okay, so her and her family look blue. So how are they able to disguise themselves?
Yeah,
it's a little confusing.
Yeah, how was nobody at Oceanside asking them why so blue?
Yeah, as a wise man would say. But no, genuinely, I preferred it to the bad guys. I think it's one of the most fun DreamWorks movies in quite a while. Not as good as Puss in Boots 2 though. I still feel that's a bit better, but it's a great fun. Like you say, it's a girl power film. The grandmother character was nice as well. I feel like the male characters did get quite sidelined in the story, but it's fine. I mean, it is what it is. But I think Marissa the villain could have been done a little bit better, but that's just my thoughts. I think the twist villain thing, we need to just stop that, because it doesn't always work for me.
Yeah, and Marissa, she kind of looked exactly like Ariel from Little Mermaid. Exact same design with the red hair.
Yes, I think it was definitely, and the story had similar vibes to Little Mermaid and Little Mermaid 2. So this is DreamWorks' sort of modern take on the Little Mermaid. I mean, everybody has like smartphones and they're tweeting, and even the sea captain has a smartphone, and he's tweeting about how wrong he was to rate the Kraken. But it's a good story, and it has good themes of like acceptance and obviously being a teenager and all of that stuff. So and you get some really nice mother-daughter scenes in the film, which I didn't expect. So it was better than I thought it would be. So yeah, and it was great to see it with you.
Pleasure to see it with you.
Yeah, do you have any final thoughts?
This is honestly the biggest surprise of the year for me. Yeah, one of my favourites, certainly in terms of animation, so I'd honestly recommend it because it deserves to be doing better financially than it is, and I wouldn't mind sequels to this because I think a sequel could be better.
Yeah, that would be good. Actually, I wouldn't say no to a sequel. And the animation, very colourful. I think they must have taken inspiration from Avatar, because it did feel very Way of Water-esque for kids.
Colours?
Yes, the bioluminescence. It looks great on the big screen, the colours and everything. This would have been a good one for 3D, but fair enough. Anyway, we are done, so we will now go back to the reviews. But thank you very much for watching. This was Pajak's Perspective, and this is Harry Thomas. We will see you soon.
Adios, amigo.
Cheers once again, Ollie and Ruby. Hope to see you again on the big screen in another few years, my girl. And yeah, at least we've got a movie with a mermaid this year in it. That's good now. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And what are your thoughts on Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken? Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow on Twitter and Instagram. And I'll see you all next time when I review Barbie Dolphin Magic to continue my Barbie reviews leading up to the big one. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.